This video is powered by USAGundam. Visit USAGundamstore.com and enter the code JOEY10 to receive 10% off your next purchase. After what seems to be a long time now, the Kyrios is finally complete. The last time you saw the Kyrios, all of the detail stuff was done, the scribing was done, it was all primed up, ready to go, and the painting was the last step. And as you can see, the painting has been completed, and honestly, I think it came out pretty darn good. I, at first, wasn't really sure, honestly, where to go. I knew what colors I wanted to use, but I really didn't know how to, put them, or I didn't know how I wanted to put them on the suit. But after getting into the groove and everything, it all kind of started falling together, and I'm really happy with the way that this actually turned out. I love how the orange is not overbearing. It's just here and there as an accent color, and it really pops compared to the two main tones, which pair lovely together. They actually work so well together, and I'm going to go over here in a minute the paints I actually did use, seeming that I actually kept you guys in the dark on that a little bit. So starting out with the paints, I'm going to go over the two main body colors, the first of which being the Midnight Blue or Glossy Sea Blue or World War II US Navy Blue from Gaia. I guess it's got three different names, but this is what you see, the darker of the two colors, and I went with the Navy Blue instead of black because if you go with a lighter than black color, it will still look really dark, but whenever you have panel lines or detail or anything like that and you use like a true black on that color, you'll never see those details, especially on camera. So just lightening it up a little bit actually makes it where you're able to see the details, especially when you use say black panel accent or something like that in the panel lines. And the fact that this is a little bit blue already, and the lighter color has a blue hue to it, it makes them pair so much better. I really couldn't ask these two colors to pair any better for this suit. The second main color is, of course, all this other main color you see, and that is the Blue Fog White, the Nazca from Gaia Notes Blue Fog White. And this color actually came out way different than I thought it would. I thought it was going to be a little bit lighter, and I'm glad it wasn't because, of course, this being kind of a stealth paint job, it goes really well together. It's not too bright, it's not overly bright. So once again, I couldn't have asked for a better paint color than that. And to tie all of the two main colors together, I went with a third color, which is the neutral color, which is the Neutral Gray 4 from Gaia Notes. And this was, mainly just to add another layer to the paint job, but also make it where it just wasn't just two, colors the entire way. Something to break it up a little bit. Next, and sorry for this, but I actually completely ruined the label when I was trying to transfer it. But this is the Nazca Mandarin Orange, the Gaia Notes Nazca Mandarin Orange, over white surfacer. So all of the orange pieces were actually primed in white first, and then had a couple layers of the orange put over top to make it a more bright, vibrant version of the orange, which I'm very glad I did as well, because it really makes those oranges pop out over top of the darker silhouetted colors of the rest of the kit. Now moving on to how I painted the GN drives, which you can see here. There's also ones in the head and one in the center of the chest. And for that, I actually started out with a white primer base, and I went over that with the Gaia Notes Orange Yellow. And of course, after that, I went over it with the SMS Pearl Golden Orange. And what this did is it actually deepened that orange up a little bit and gave it a metallic effect to the paint. And then I went over that with a gloss lacquer, which was the Gaia Notes Gloss Clear, to make it have that glossy effect. And I like the fact that I did that for the simple fact of it makes it look like it has different materials. All of the inner frame pieces are also gloss coated, so all of the armor is matte finish, and all of the inner frame and or what you would look, I mean, you would say that it was like a glass piece or something like that, so that's all done in gloss as well as the eyes and cameras. Speaking of the eyes and cameras, those were also primed in white and done in the SMS Pearl Ice Blue. Now, if you followed the channel, this should look really familiar, as this is the same blue that I used on my Goku hair. Now, talking more about the eyes, the fact that I used that ice blue pearl and then went over that with gloss, whenever you catch the light just right on those eyes, it looks like they actually illuminate. And of course, for the inner frame itself, that was done with Starbright Iron and then top coated with a gloss finish. And this was sprayed directly over the Gaia Evo Surfacer Black. Alright, so moving right along, we are going to look at and talk about the weapons and accessories a little bit closer and in more detail. Alright, the first accessory that I want to talk about is basically an accessory for the shield, and that's this little blade. Now, I had tossed up the idea of doing this blade in like an orange or like the same color I did the GN drives, but I'm really glad I didn't. I'm glad I went with just this little simple chrome paint job here. It's gloss black with 2 passes of the premium, the Gaia Notes premium chrome paint. And it's not top coated or anything. This is just how it looks after you do that. If you gloss coat it, it actually dulls it down and turns it silver. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep it this way, and I kind of wanted to go for that like crude blade look. So I didn't want to go over the top chrome with it. So I kind of just left it, after 2 light passes, and I'm happy with the way it came out. It's a neat little accessory, and it looks like a blade. Next, we'll take a look at the shield. And the shield, of course, I did in the 2 main colors of the mobile suit. So that's the navy blue and the blue fog white. And Delpy decals, which I used Delpy decals and Simp decals hand in hand for this kit. Mostly the Delpy decals were the Kyrios decals, as you can see here, and all of the caution markings, well, like 90% of the caution markings and everything, that was all Simp. It was a orange and white warning labels that I had from Simp, and those are really, really good too. So both really, really great decals. I had a lot of fun doing the decal work on this, and these here are actually extra decals that Delpy put in that weren't in the manual, but it actually ties into the other decals that are on the backside of the mobile suit, and they actually add a really cool effect to it. It really adds a lot of depth to the shield itself, and I'm happy with the way it came out. The backside, of course, is just that one color, and this crude looking thing here, it's not my best looking peg, but it is precisely the right size to slide into the back of that custom hole that I made on the back of the forearm. Because I modified the back of the forearm, I had to modify the shield as well. So there is a brass rod, and this is glued in really securely. It's not going anywhere, and it actually does hold very securely into the back of the arm. The shield actually does still function. It is supposed to slide out like so. It can bend here, and it still opens up and becomes a giant claw, as it's supposed to. Basically, that's it for the shield. It functions like it's supposed to. It looks really cool, and I really like those new added decals. Next up, we'll take a look at the gun, and I'm a really big fan of this gun in particular because it kind of reminds me of a hand cannon out of Destiny, and I'm a really big hand cannon fan. So, I mean, that's basically what this is just a giant hand cannon. So, of course, right off the get-go, I really liked it. With this one, I did it in all of the main colors of the suit. So, of course, you have the blue fog white, the orange, the neutral gray, and the navy blue on the outside. And so, going forward, I really think I'm going to start doing a lot more detail painting on like this on the weapons, because I really like the way that this came out. It gives a lot of character to the gun. It really ties it to the mobile suit a lot better. And, it's just a lot more interesting to look at rather than looking at just a, metallic gunmetal gun. And, of course, the scope there I did in the same fashion I did the eyes. And as you can see here, you can see some of the simp decals I use. There's one here, 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 and the only one that's actually Delpy is this one up here. So I'm really happy with the way the gun came out. Of course, these pieces detach and can be held in the hand, and I think it's supposed to be used for like the rocket launchers too, which, speaking of, we will take a look at now. Alright, so last but not least, we have the missile launchers. Now, I'm not gonna lie, these were a little bit of an afterthought for me, but I'm still happy with the way that they came out. I did the inner parts of it in that Starbright iron. You can see vents popping out here and there that are Starbright iron, and they're glossy over the rest of it. And I added a little detail piece on both of these. These just slot right over the front of the forearms. They're not my favorite, but I mean, they are neat. On the bottom side here, I used some simp decals here, and basically the rest of them are, and there's some simp decals up here, and the rest of them are the Kyrios ones that are supposed to be there. And I mean, they are cool, and to each his own. Some people will probably like them more than others. They're just okay to me. Alright, so to wrap this all up, I'm actually going to end this video with a nice photo reel that I have put together of the GN003 Spectre, my take on the Kyrios. A quick final thought on this build. It was a really fun build, and, I learned an awful lot doing this build. I got comfortable with scribing, or more comfortable with scribing. I got comfortable with making my own scribing lines and stuff like that, so like I said, I'm going to finish this thing off with a nice photo reel, a couple close-up shots, some dynamic poses, stuff like that. So I hope you enjoy that, and that's going to do it for this series. So, as always, a like and subscribe would be appreciated if you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.